And good morning, all. Thanks for joining us. Or I guess good afternoon now. Thanks for joining us again for another ATS University session. As you just heard, we do have this session recorded. We're going to be hosting it on our ATS University section of the website, where all of the previously recorded sessions of these are available in case you missed any and are interested in learning more about topics like, pump sizing, water heater sizing, variety of other topics like how to use our new template features or new products that have launched from various manufacturers. I'll show you later on in the presentation how you can access all of that. For those of you that maybe is your first time joining an ATS University, my name is Zach Allison. I'm the National Accounts Manager for our market development team, showing firms across Canada and across the US how they can set up their masters, get their team set up on the system, training on product, as well as our SpecTool itself. This week's gonna be a little bit different. Usually we have one of our manufacturer partners jump in and do product training, like the Presslet training that we had a couple of weeks ago on, going past the ADA and past the barrier-free code, discussing change tables and adjustable arms and all that stuff. Great presentation, but this one is focused more on what's new with us. And we've got Rebecca Perlero, the director of our customer experience, who takes all the feedback that we receive from engineers and architects across North America, gets our product development team working on new features, and helps also in terms of onboarding new product categories, which we're excited to announce today. So I guess without any further ado, I'll let you dive in. Rebecca, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Zach, and thanks everyone again for joining us today. So we'll talk a little bit about what's new from a product standpoint, from how the tool works. Zach will walk you through it, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up. And hopefully some of you are interested in being a part of our test pilot on some of these new functionalities. So first and foremost, again, thank you for all your support and the use of our tool. This year, we've actually expect to increase the number of projects that get designed on our system. So this is anything from a Starbucks renovation to a new hospital being built somewhere in the North American market, up about 10% from last year. And we've almost doubled the number of products that have been specified through our system. And that's all through the use of the folks that are on this call. And if you're not using it, then hopefully we'll show you why other engineers are using the same tool. So just some of the basics so that we're all on the same page as to what ATS Spec does today is not only are you on the tool to find a toilet, a faucet, but what we're going to try and do is we use what we call our product rule engine, which is going to make product recommendations on individual products that need to be specified together, different components to create a properly installed product down the road. So an example of that is if you need a wall hung laver basin on our spec tool, we're going to make sure that the faucet that we recommend matches the hole punching on that sink, and then the carrier that we recommend would fit into that sink. At the same time, if you build a project on our system, so what that means is you give us really the location, so the state, country, state, or province and city. What we're going to make sure is that the products themselves would be code compliant. So if you're in California, we're going to make sure that that faucet I was just talking about meets, I think it's called Cal Green. If you are in Nova Scotia, we want to make sure that we're recommending the right barrier-free product. And that goes for the main building codes for both Canada and the US. So as you saw, 200,000 products specified. So it means we have thousands of different products from different categories in the division 22, 10, and now we're starting to dabble into division 23. We'll go a little bit more into that in a second. You can organize your office masters in here, your projects. You also have the ability to collaborate. So if there's an architect working on the job, you can actually invite them to work on the project with you. And then, of course, you have access to our spec experts. So just like we've been providing you training on all of these products through our ATS University, our internal team, so folks like Zach, we also have a group of spec writers. They are fully trained on all of the products that are on our system. So if you have a question about how something works, or maybe you have a special job specific application and you need help finding the right product, our team available via live chat, via email, and then through meetings like this, are able to help you find the right product for your project. Just some of the partners or the manufacturers that we work with. So we work with brands like American Standard, A.O. Smith, Frankie, Watts, Sloan, and we have some new manufacturing partners that have joined with us: Polright, Stern Engineering, and Firstco. All right, so there's 4 things that I want to show you about what's new on the tool that maybe you haven't seen yet. And then we'll go into some of the new stuff that's coming out in the future. So finding products faster, you'll notice that regardless of the category that you're in, when you're going to look for a product, there is a direct link to the manufacturer's spec sheet. So one of the biggest things that we find as a time saving is having all these manufacturers on one website eliminates how much searching you're doing online. You can do it all in one space. And now those individual manufacturers spec sheets, you can also pull from our system. And all you have to do is literally click on the button and that PDF opens as a separate tab. You also have the ability to see, of those 7,000 projects that are on the system, what are other engineers like yourself specifying for that specific project in that specific application. So you have the ability to sort by the most popular. And then we realize that, especially when it comes to I don't know, sinks, multi-lavs, that size is really important. And we now have the ability to really filter down the product that you're looking for based off of the specific size requirements that your project has. We've also updated the way that the products appear on the site. So moving forward, whenever you're looking at a product, we're going to show you all of the options or how that product can be configured first. So if you're looking at a drain, it's going to show you the different pipe sizes or strainers. And then if you want to kind of get a deep dive on more information about that product, of course, you can always click that spec sheet that we were talking about previously, or you can click on features, and that'll give you a description, a breakdown of what that product is all about. We also have some new products that are available on our site. So starting next week, you should see water heater stands and platforms. So this is from HoldRite. They're really meant to be able to lift your water heater off the floor. So whether that's a floor mounted unit or hung from the ceiling, we've seen that a lot in like restaurant and smaller kind of commercial kitchen applications. So you'll be able to specify that with your water heater. We've also added some really kind of cool no touch, really good for high traffic applications. These behind the mirror faucets and soap dispenser systems, or SWAR, as they call them from Stern Engineering. These units allow you as the designer to configure either a faucet, soap dispenser, or hand dryer behind the wall or behind the mirror. Looks like it's behind the wall, so that an individual can just kind of put their hands underneath the mirror and be able to wash their hands. So it really clears up the counter space, creating a very kind of clean line look in the washroom. Speaking of clean lines, American Standard has launched a new collection called the Aspirations Collection. It's kind of cool because a lot of the functionality that which you typically see in a kitchen sink is now coming into the actual bathroom. So they have some no-touch bathroom faucets meant for residential applications. They also have pull-down residential bathroom faucets. So very clean, contemporary look. And last but not least, ATS, like I said, has started to dabble in the HVAC world. So what that means is we now have air handlers, PTAC units, and condensers from a manufacturer out in Texas, Firstco. They're really focused on the multifamily kind of amenity spaces or the individual units. So you are more than welcome to see those. We can help you find the right product for your project. And if you wanted to learn more about any one of these products, we do have some previous ATS universities on the SWAR as well as on the Firstco. So if you're interested, just drop us a line and we'll share that information with you. And the last kind of big functionality that we've added to the SpecTool that has come from feedback from our users is what we're calling our ATS templates. So using those 7,000 projects from this year and 10,000 projects from last year and 10,000 projects before that, we've kind of looked at what are the typical products that an engineer specifies, and we've created a application specific template. So you can look for an office tower, you can look for a nursing home, you can look for a high school, and ATS is going to put in there all of the products that we could recommend so that you can either use that template to create your own project and pull products from there, or if your office doesn't have a master or needs help updating their master, they can use that template and pull products from the template into a master. So it's really like a way of getting a head start on your project, letting us take care of maybe some of the smaller items that you wouldn't think of for that project. And then you can focus on the big fixtures or the big mechanical equipment that you need to size. If you want to learn more about the templates that we have, we do have a page on the website called atspec.com/templates. There you can see an actual PDF of all the products. You can download the specifications that those templates produce, or it'll allow you to click a button and copy that template into a project for yourself. But you probably want to see that a little bit more in action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Zach, and he's going to give you a demo of how this works.
We got to get you an updated picture of me. That looks nothing like me. All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. Yeah, I'm going to walk through a number of different things here. Let me close this so I get a little bit more space up here as well, and move that around. So first and foremost, if you've not been on our SpecTool before, take note of the URL. ATSspec.com will take you to this page, and there's also ATS software, which then you can get over to the SpecTool. But this is kind of the landing page specifically for the SpecTool. It's a free login service, so once you get set up, you can either sign up or log in. And of course, like every other site these days, once you log in once, it'll save your password. The logins are grouped by firm. So if you are part of an existing firm, you can get signed up and put into the account with the rest of your team. That will allow you to share projects back and forth, share masters, et cetera, just generally keep things organized. And I can help you, of course, get organized with your team if need be. Again, all the manufacturers pay to be on our service so that the engineers and designers don't have to. So it's free for architects and engineers to use. And additionally, there's a lot of information even before you log in. There's our learning hub where you can access our ATS knowledge base. There's our templates. And I've got those open here. So atspec.com/templates will allow you to download kind of like a large brochure, I guess. You've got a US and a Canadian version where we took kind of general ADA or general NBC in Canada to put together a basic set of selections. So far, we've got a general mechanical room, long-term care, independent living. So long-term care, living in a facility versus elderly care, kind of aging in place. Designing for Class A washrooms that Rebecca and I did, I think a month or two ago, where we were talking about office and the washroom for the facility in there. More on the base build side, not necessarily within the actual tenant spaces. And then designing with safety and care, talking about educational facilities. Beyond just, here's your wash fountain. There's a lot of different applications in there. And, you'll have a change room and locker room area. You might have a gym area. You might have a science lab, daycare. All those different applications require different products. And this helps you get the right selection. And again, you can go additional downloads here and download submittals, schedules, written specs, or you can simply hit start a live project, and that'll take you into the create a new project tab within SpecTool. I'm logged in here under our demo account. And once you're logged in, this is your dashboard. Now, Rebecca is going to show you later on in the presentation how even this is going to get some changes. But as a general starting point, we have 3 different ways that you can start selecting product on the site. We have something known as Quick Spec, which is the quickest, fastest way to grab a single fixture. So if you're looking for a faucet, say we are looking for that new aspiration faucet, we can type that in. We can search by keyword to get to our faucet category. You can pin your favorite category so you can come back to them. Again, I'll show you that in more detail shortly. We're going to be loading in here every single faucet within the ATS sphere. So you could start filtering down by manufacturer type, mounting, center set, flow rates, all those different pieces of information. Or we can simply go to our search field within this, and I can search for aspiration. I think I need to relog in. Yeah. I let it sit for too long. That's one of our wonderful safety features. I let it sit for a little bit too long and had to log back in. So I'm going to go back to my quick tab here on the left. I'm going to go to the quick specs, and you'll see that the faucet quick spec that we made is there. I'm going to get back in my category selection and get back into our faucet here. And then that should finally load up, and I'll be able to type in aspirations like I mentioned before. Again, like I mentioned, you'll be able to filter down any different categories. So now that we've got this loaded, I could filter by, say, the number of handles. Maybe I want a single handle or the 2-handle option. Toggle that, and it'll refine your selection. And this is true through every category, through every product type within the facility, within the site. You'll have various filters that help you find the right product for the right application. Again, you can learn more information by hitting the spec sheet on the right-hand side here, like Rebecca mentioned, and then we can see any additional details like what the dimensions are, various features and benefits, maybe any additional options. You can hit the tab to expand it, and you can see we've got 3 different finish options that we can select from. And if I go into the features, I can review and see, okay, it's a 6 to 12 inch adjustable center set, so it'll fit an 8-inch center set just fine. It's a 1.2 GPM, 4.5 liters per minute flow rate. That's great. That's going to be water sense appropriate probably. And even here, it tells me water sense right there. So I know it's a good product, and I know it's the one I'm looking for. So I'm going to hit the polished chrome, and that's going to update our model number here. And we'll get the final 002, which is our color coding from American Standard. I'll hit add to product, and then it's done. And then you can go in, download it. If you just need the one simple selection, then this is your way to do it. A quick spec is going to help you get a single fixture a single combination even. You can do a lav, faucet, carrier, trap supplies, all that jazz, all at once. However, we do also, like I mentioned, have our projects and masters. The project's going to be a kind of a deeper dive than what we were talking about before. And the master is more for your recurring work. So let's say that you are, we're going to be looking at building a condo today. A number of the products that we were talking about fit that new condo application. So you'd put in, say, new downtown condo. I'm gonna have to say condo 1 because I started doing a prep project earlier. I'm gonna select my location as Canada. I'm gonna put it into Ontario. It's my local spot. It's where I'm a little bit more familiar. Although, of course, if we're building in BC, we've got BC building code. We're building out east in Nova Scotia, like Rebecca mentioned, we get the NBC for Nova Scotia. I'm gonna put a bid date so that I know if any of my products go out of style, get discontinued by Christmas. It'll be a Christmas gift for me. So if anything does get discontinued or changed, then the system will notify me and let me know, hey, you need to update your selections. And I put a approximate square footage in here. It doesn't need to be fully accurate, just a best guess. And then I start into selecting my application type. This is going to refine my selection. So I'm going to go into condominium, hit next. Now, we mentioned that the quick spec is the fastest way to get a single selection. The fastest way to get a full, complete selection is by far the residential templates. This is where you are going to be able to simply review, various product groups, or you could just hit multifamily residential, select all of it, and copy that entire ATS template into your new project. We're not going to do that for now. We're going to deselect because it's not really what we're looking to show at this point in the demo. But if you wanted to simply, take our best recommendation, go into your first review meeting, and then just doing markups, getting feedback on, different types of features, what you need, what you might not, then that's certainly an easy way to do it. Now, what a lot of people use those templates for, though, is building masters. So we mentioned before, if you're doing repeat work, that's where your masters come in. You likely have, if you're doing a lot of condos, you might have 2 or 3 different owner groups that you're working with regularly this year. You're doing 10, 20, even 5, 2 or 3, however many projects. But if you're using it regularly, then you are going to want to set up a master. Because just like you do in real life, you have probably different selections that say Daniel's group prefers to, Brookfield or BGIS or whoever else you're working with. You can customize those selections as well. So here I've gone in and started building just something I'm calling condo amenity space master. And I set this up just earlier this morning, just before the demo. You can see a variety of products that would typically be in an amenity space. We've got a double bowl sink, small single bowl sink as a bar sink application. And this is where that discussion comes in with your owner group, with your architect to say, do we need either of these? Is there going to be a large wash up area in the amenity space, or is it going to be just a small bar sink, just so they can maybe rinse out some cups or, whatever it is they need to do. We've got a universal washroom where we can propose that swar, or with a undermount basin and all the appropriate barrier-free connections, or a wall-hung lav instead that has a nice high-end faucet. We can propose a universal toilet and have the discussion, do we want wall-hung flush valve style, or are you just looking for a tank type that's going to be reliable and still meet your barrier-free code? Do they need a bottle filler package, the air handler unit? And I'll show you how you can find all this stuff shortly. So all these typical things that are going to be in amenity area, I'm going to go up to the top and hit copy or select all. And then maybe for this project, we know that they're not really entertaining the idea of having a dishwasher in this amenity space. So we're going to deselect this. We don't need it on this particular project. And we go copy, and I can search for my new downtown condo. And you can see the 2 projects, the one that I was prepping for earlier, and then I got new downtown condo 1. I'll hit copy, and that'll select all of those fixtures and copy them over. So now instead of having a internal master that may go out of date, that's not going to be providing you the various output formats that you need, you can have it live right on here and copy it into whatever project you need. And it's going to be accessible for your entire team, and it's refined to your selections. So if in those discussions with your owner group, they say, oh, I don't like this faucet, we had particular issues, or for the bar sink, we actually want to go with a different option. We're just going to go single hole instead of the 4-inch center set. You can make those changes on their master, and then when you copy that in the next time, those changes will be saved. So if we want to add an extra product in here, we were talking before about how they may have a discussion about this toilet. They may want to propose a tank type as well as the wall hung. So let's hit our plus button here. And we're going to search by category, and we're going to search for toilet. And I'm going to pin this first because I do want to show the pin feature, and I'll deselect this. Once you hit that pin, it's going to be up at the top. And this is where your favorite, most repeat use categories are. So you can see I've got a few pinned already. Basins I'm selecting all the time, our drinking fountains and bottle fillers, the pipe supports and restraints, doing a lot of pumps, and the respective control panels. Just pinned our toilet, so I'm going to go into this category. And again, you could either search by category, or you can pin it to the top. So we're going to go into toilet. And we mentioned we added the barrier-free toggle. So I'm going to be toggling the barrier-free, and that's going to limit down my selection. I'm going to let this load first so we can show how the number of products refined. I need to hide this. So we got 172 products currently. I'm going to toggle my barrier-free. It's going to refine that selection. It's going to bring us down just to, I think it's like 80 something. We'll see how good my memory is. 103. I'm a little off. I apologize. And then we can filter this down further. So we know we want to propose a tank type. So you can go to toilet type, and we're going to say tank type. And you can see we've got additional filters here as well. So you've got bariatric if you're doing like a mental health or hospital area. We've got child height if you're doing the, say, daycare or school area. And we've filtered by tank type now, and you've got all the different options. You can filter by flow rate, any sort of additional criteria that you may wish. I'm going to simply find, let's do a Cadet Pro elongated right height, standard base toilet. You could go through and select all these different features, or you can select the most popular. And it's going to go through and make those selections for us based on, like Rebecca mentioned previously, the most commonly selected products. So we get a basic polished chrome left-hand trip, the associated tank, unlined, without the locking device, all those selections, and then I can hit add product. We'll just skip that for now. So hit add product, and it's going to bring us to the next step in the configured product selection. So we're going to be asked to select our toilet seat next, and it'll bring up the supplies as well, as that's what's required for a barrier-free selection in Ontario for a tank type toilet. Of course, if we were selecting our flush valve style, then if it's wall hung, you'll get a carrier, backrest, anything else that you may need. So I'm going to select our 800 STS FE. That's a fasten lock, open front elongated seat with cover. And then we're going to come up to our supplies, and I'm just going to select a loose key single supply. So I'll go with a quarter turn brass ball valve, and I'll select my convertible loose key handle. I don't want anyone messing with it once it gets installed. We'll hit add product, and it'll finish this off. Now, one thing that was brought up in the past is, we're forcing the selection. What if I'm using another manufacturer for supplies or seats, anything like that? Nowadays, you could simply skip that. You could hit complete right away. We don't necessarily require that. It's just a recommendation. So if you do say just want to select your seat and skip the supply, you can see even when I click this, I can delete the button now. I'm going to hit complete. and it's going to add this into my project. Down at the bottom where I can put in my name, I'm going to call this Universal Option 2. I'm going to take a look to see, what was the order I wanted. So I've got 5, 7 in my sequence. I'm going to pop this in at 6, and then that's going to move it up to that spot in the order so that we can print off and organize these as we wish. So you'll see it's going to save and pop that in right there. So we've got our universal flush valve style and a universal tank type style, just so we can have that discussion with our architect and with our owner group to make sure we get the right stuff. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the ability to use ATS templates in conjunction with these product selections. So maybe your master's just covering your regular everyday use fixtures, and you want to round out the rest. If we go into our template list here, this is the ATS template. See, we've got a variety of different applications. You can filter down by that. I can go into this multifamily residential, and you can see the breadth of product that is really available on ATS now. We've got a good, better, best for suites. So if we are wanting to add a suite package with a closed front seat, maybe a round front bowl, we've got private basins in square or circle. We've got the above counter options, different types of basin options. And again, if you want more detail on this, all these hyperlinks are on the way to give you more information. So I could pull this up and look at the vanity for the Studio S33. And then I can go back and say, yes, I do like that. You got tubs, showers, sinks, all the stuff might be necessary in a suite. We've got our change rooms, drainage areas, mechanical rooms, fire protection. We've got pipes, HVAC, and even too many, I can't get to the end. Bathroom accessories and our HVAC for the suite itself. So lots of different options. You go in and say, we want to round out the suite. I'm going to check this off. We'll go with the better suite package. I'll check this off. And let's say we need a change room. I'm going to check this off, but maybe we don't need a 42-inch. We don't need toilet partitions. We're going with our SWAR, the soap, water, air unit. So we don't need hand dryers. We don't need paper towels. We don't need our combinations. And we've got different receptacles, different soaps, yada, yada. And it's just as simple now. Once you've got the products that you like, hit copy to. We can search for that new downtown condo again. And I could either pop this into that existing product group that we were adding selections to earlier for our amenity area, or I can create a new product group. So I can call this suites after I copy all that information in. And that'll put that in a new product group that I can download on its own or with the rest of the package and get all that information together. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take up to a minute sometimes, depending on how many selections you have. You can see that really wasn't all that bad. For getting all these product selections over into a new product group, that was a pretty quick loading time, in my opinion. I know loading time is always an issue with any sort of web platform. We do our best to manage it. But in my opinion, getting that number of selections over in a matter of 10, 20 seconds seems like a worthwhile cost of time for me. Now, again, you can change this, so I can call this new product group into suites package. Hit finish. And then we can have our amenity package like we talked about before. So I'm going to call this amenity package. And now you're starting to get your condo organized. You can add additional groups and add your drainage. You can add an additional group and add your roof area. Maybe you want to break them all down by application or all down by fixture type. where you have fixtures, accessories, drains, heaters, however you want to do it. It's really up to you how you organize it. You saw how our templates organize it. If that fits with you're doing, great. If it ties into how you want to organize your information, fantastic. But those templates are a great way to either build a new project or build your own new master. Once you've added your selections, I'm just going to do the one page and hit download. So by checking this box, I download this entire package. If I selected this box, then it would download both product groups. And hit the download button. And you can now download this in a variety of outputs. We can get the Revit for the entire project. We can get manufacturer spec sheets that give the installation details and all the dimension information. A long spec that has that same dimension information but in a written format. You can get a long spec, short spec, or CSI 3-part spec all in Word. You can get a plumbing fixture schedule that's going to break down tabs by division type and product brochures, or our standard submittal, which combines multiple manufacturers onto one page. I'm going to hit the generate documents and show you what that looks like. Although again, this is going to take a little while because we do have our other package or a number of fixtures to be downloaded. So it may take, again, up to a minute. We try to keep that download time as low as possible, and I'll tell you how fast it's going. Now, in terms of speed on presentations, though, I always try to download ahead of time because I know I tend to run a little long in the mouth, as Rebecca may comment. I can definitely fill a room. So here's the selections that we were looking at and our submittal documentation that we had, where we're combining multiple manufacturers together, our grab bars, our bar sinks, all that different product information. If we look at our manufacturer spec sheet, you can see this is a larger package, 94 pages for all the different manufacturer spec sheets, gives you a table of contents. So again, this is a perfect way to do your first time in reviews. You may get feedback on this. I want a different finish on this faucet. We don't need the mixing valves. We're going to be more cost effective on the supplies. The ground bars in a different portion, or whatever the feedback is. You can then go in and revise it, but it's a lot easier to delete out than add in my opinion. And sometimes just adding things in, it brings up a discussion that you maybe haven't had before. For example, knowing that if you are going with the SWAR unit, this will show you that it's 9 3/8 from the wall to the edge, and we have to subtract a little bit of space for the water flow. So that's why we need a basin. That'll be 4 inches minimum from the wall. So that'll give us a little bit of overlap so that the water will go directly into the basin while still meeting our barrier-free code. All those different products, I'm not going to go through it one by one. I do want to show, though, our all of our formats are also editable. So if you are looking to, say, copy this into your own internal written documentation, you'd either copy the entire thing, or we can copy just the individual section. I'll hit enable editing. And this is where you could add in alternates. You can keep what you've got existing. So again, let's say you've got supplies from elsewhere. You could say just copy the sink, faucet, whatever, and leave what you don't need or anything along those lines. Similarly, the schedules in Excel are going to be open and editable. And you can see we've got a plumbing schedule, we've got our drain schedule, we've got accessory schedules, we've got our air handler, fan coil schedules, of course, pumps, water heaters, all those different products that would have different headers and footers are going to be customized to that. So the headers change based on the most commonly used headers for that category across the industry. And then finally, I can't really show it on my computer. I don't have the Revit program, but here's our Revit package where you've got a broken down system of all the different products and the RFA files for each of them. And all that's just through the click of a button to download the entire package. So in my mind, certainly one of the easiest ways that you can configure an entire condo whether you're using our ATS templates as your basis or revising them to form your own firm's version of a regularly used fixture, or taking it directly into a project. Now, of course, along the way, if you're making changes and revisions, you can go in, edit, you can delete, you can make whatever changes you wish to. Sometimes what I'll do is say we've gone in, had a revisions, I'll call this amenity rev 091323, and then copy the selections in and make my changes. That way I have a running tally of the changes that have been made. So I can go back to project, copy those into our revisions. And then make the changes that way. Again, that way, if in case anyone changes back, I don't have to redo my work. If anyone, we make a change and they want to revert it, it's easier that way. It's also handy just to see the running tally of changes along the way. And if they have just a single item, I might even do a quick spec just to add a single item into that. But yeah, that's, I think, the more elongated, I got more time today than usual. Anything that I missed, Rebecca? Anything else we want to show?
No, I was going to say that last tip about keeping your revisions, that's actually a really good idea. I never thought about it.
I do it all the time. As I'm sure many on the call know, our market development, our spec team is there as well. You can go over to the request a build button here and submit a request directly to our team, or you can send me an email directly, and then our team will essentially do selections for you, or we'll jump on a Teams call and maybe look at the drawings together. And quite regularly, as I'm sure everyone on the call is aware, you can get 20, 50, 100 responses deep on some of these threads, on something as simple as what faucet do you want, or what size do you want to the sink. Personally, my favorite way is to do this. That way I have a running tally, and 2 weeks from now, after they've said, oh, we want to go with this and this, and they come back and say, you know what, that first one that you proposed is actually the right answer, and we should have listened to you in the first place. They may not ever say that last line, but they mean it in their heads, or so I tell myself. I find it a great way to keep things organized, and know exactly what our discussion's forming on. Which actually does, saying that brings up one feature I did want to show as well. Let's go back to our bar sink here. We had talked about the new slide bar feature. So let's say we want to revise this faucet. They've come back and told us in our meeting, we've only got such and such amount of space. We can go through, let's say we've only got 16 inches. Obviously that's kind of what I already selected for, but I can go to my overall width and I can adjust this slide bar, and you can see the inches and millimeters going as we go. It can be a little finicky, but the nice thing too is once you've clicked on it, you can go left and right on your cursor. So you can use your arrow keys to really set it, and then you apply the range, and it's going to refine that down to just those selections. So we could say go with our 1306. If they want a barrier free, we can go with our ALBS series. Lots of different options, including the original one that I'd selected. So we're going to keep with that, and then we only have to make the one change. And of course, if anything's not going to fit afterwards, then our system will pop that up and tell you, hey, this faucet, because you've switched from a center hole to a 4-inch centers, you need a new faucet selection. Our system would pop that up. So yeah, this new slide bar feature, really nice in my opinion. I like, with some slide bars on our site in the past, or even other manufacturer sites, once you kind of drag it, it starts the spinning wheel of trying to load all the product. So I like the fact that you can, really refine this selection with your left and right keys, and then hit the apply range and really dial it in.
Well, thank you for the demo, Zach.
usually we are running a little bit long and I don't really get time to do a full demo. So I'm happy today that I got to actually show some of the ins and outs of the site.
So I'll just take the last about 5 minutes just to go through some new functionality that's coming down the pipeline. The first one that Zach kind of alluded to in the demo is a new dashboard. This we're going to be working on to be launched in the new year. What this is going to let you do is let you see what your team is doing, what projects you have, kind of like a reporting widget. It will also let you see directly from the dashboard the newest products that have been added or featured products. So you don't have to wait for the what's new with SpecTool webinar or maybe the release notes. You'll actually get to see it in the application and go straight to it. You'll also be able to kind of better see all of the templates that we're working on so that you have access to them. Thank you for those that during this webinar that gave us feedback on what's the next template you'd like to see. The next one that's actually coming out probably in about a week's time, a little bit over a week, is auto adding tags and labels. So Zach talked a lot about organizing your spec. Sometimes you have multiple water closets, sometimes you have multiple water heaters. If you forget to add a label or a tag to the product that you selected, now ATS will actually add one for you. So if it's an emergency equipment, you'll see EE1. If you add another one, it'll be EE2. Of course, you can still edit it, but this way, at least, if it's not top of mind, hey, we're adding it for you. So the popular tags and labels that we see, WC1, UR1, Labs, SK1, CO-1 for cleanouts. So you'll have access to those. Small things, but definitely I think will make it one step easier, one less thing to think about. And then the other kind of big functionality that we've been working on is this idea of adding alternatives. So we understand that there will be instances where the owner group, the architect wants to use a manufacturer or a product that isn't necessarily on the spec tool, and that you've been going into your written specification, into your schedules, and updating the products selected in the physical documents that you're downloading. So we want to make that a little bit easier for you by adding alternatives into the application for you. So what this would allow you to do is add whatever that other product is, either by name, so manufacturer name and model number, or just listing out the manufacturer. And then that will appear in your written specifications. So we will be testing this out with some key users that are using us today, but because you've taken out the time of your day to join us for today's webinar, I wanted to open it to everybody on this call. If you're interested, there is a poll open, and we'll reach out to those individuals who've shown that they have some interest in seeing how this works and having us set it up for you, maybe in your masters, so that anybody in your organization can kind of add the alternatives to any project that they're working on. And then, of course, your team. So you've seen Zach. He's chatted away and shown us what the tool can do. But we also have other individuals that are local to your market. These are their lovely faces and their contact information. So if you're East Coast, so Ontario East, you have Mel. If you are Ontario West, you have Nat. If you're based in the US, you have Phil and Zach. So we're all here to help you answer any questions, help you through your first project. Of course, there are other ways that we can help you. If you want, on our website, you can book a demo with us. We also have the live chat. It's the little orange button on the blue button on the right-hand corner. It is actual people. So you have myself, some members of my team who know our spec tool, who know a lot of the products and have done the training on the aspirations line, on code compliance, so that we can help you find the right product. And then we also have a plethora of videos from all of the webinars that we've done so far this year, last year, from the different manufacturers, to help you kind of find information that you need so that you are confident in the product selections that you're making. And then last but not least, we have our email spec service or ATS service desk. It's there for you to provide us your drawings, ask us your questions, and we'll actually build the specifications on your behalf on your account. All right. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for everybody for joining us. If you have any questions, the chat lines are open and we're here to answer. If not, again, thank you for your time. And I think we have a webinar next week. Is that right, Zach?
Next week, once again.
All right, folks.
Have a great day, y'all. Thanks for joining us.